What did ancient humans think the moon was? Imagine walking outside tonight and seeing something you've never seen before. No school had ever explained it. No scientist had ever studied it. No book had ever described it. Just a giant glowing object hanging in the darkness above your head. And then, a few nights later, it changes shape. A week later, half of it is gone. A few weeks later, it disappears completely. And then somehow, it comes back. If you were one of the first humans to ever look up at the night sky, what would you think? Because for almost all of human history, nobody knew what the moon actually was. And that mystery shaped religions, created monsters, started myths, and terrified entire civilizations. The earliest humans didn't have telescopes. They didn't know about gravity. They didn't know the moon was a giant rock orbiting Earth. All they had were their eyes, and what they saw was something that seemed alive. It grew, it shrank, it disappeared, it returned, almost like it was breathing. Many ancient cultures believed the moon wasn't an object at all. It was a being, a god, a spirit watching over the world. In ancient Mesopotamia, one of the world's first civilizations, the moon was worshipped as a powerful deity. In Egypt, the moon became connected to gods who controlled time and wisdom. In ancient India, the moon was known as Chandra, a divine force associated with life, emotion, and the rhythm of nature. Across the world, people looked at the same moon, but they saw very different things. And some of those things were terrifying, because there was one event nobody could explain: an eclipse. Imagine staring at a full moon, and suddenly, something starts eating it, piece by piece, until the moon is gone. Today we know exactly what's happening, but ancient humans didn't. Many believed monsters were attacking the moon. Some cultures made as much noise as possible during an eclipse. They banged drums, shouted into the sky, anything to scare away whatever creature was devouring the moon. But eclipses weren't the only mystery. The moon seemed connected to things happening on Earth. The tides rose and fell. Animals behaved differently. People noticed strange patterns. And slowly, another belief began to spread: that the moon could affect the human mind. In fact, the English word lunatic comes from the Latin word luna, meaning moon. For centuries, people believed full moons could cause madness, strange behavior, and even violence. Even today, many people still believe it. But here's the really fascinating part. The moon wasn't just feared, it became humanity's first clock. Long before calendars existed, people noticed something incredible. The moon followed a schedule. It always returned. The same phases appeared again and again. In a way, one of humanity's first calendars was hanging in the sky every night. And then, after tens of thousands of years of myths, stories, and guesses, everything changed. Humans built telescopes. For the first time, people could see mountains on the moon, craters, valleys, a real landscape. The moon wasn't a god, it wasn't a monster, and it wasn't alive. Then came the ultimate twist. In 1969, humans did something that would have seemed impossible to every person who had ever lived before. They landed on it. Think about that for a second. For hundreds of thousands of years, humans stared at the moon and wondered what it was. And then, within a tiny fraction of our history, we walked on it. The same object that inspired gods, monsters, myths, and fear became a place where human footprints now exist. But maybe the strangest part isn't what ancient humans believed. It's that if you had been born at any other point in human history, you probably would have believed those things too. Because when people looked up at the moon thousands of years ago, they weren't seeing a giant rock in space. They were looking at the greatest mystery in their entire universe.